Hey, welcome to my first episode. This is happening. I'm going to show you how to use NewArc, and I hope that I get to demystify it somehow. This is the first page that you get to when you go to the NewArc website. Now, to actually start rendering, you're going to go here to the login and you're going to make an account. Don't worry, you don't have to pay for anything just yet, but you're going to at one point, and that's pretty fast. We're going to log in. This is where you're going to get when you want to make a project, and you're going to click here to create project. Ignore the project names. I can't delete them, and this is not my first take. But for the sake of it, let's create a project. It's going to be NewArc basic tutorials. And you're going to click OK, and this is where you end up. Here on the left side, you can upload your image. You can write a prompt. I'm sure you've heard the word prompt quite a lot now that you're in the AI image rendering game. What is that? We're going to get into it, but we're going to only talk about the basics. Then when you scroll lower, you're going to see number of pages. This is a tricky one. Make sure that you click either 4 images per rendering, or do you want 1 image per rendering, or do you want 8 images per rendering? It's really up to you. After you have your image ready, you're going to go up here to upload, and you can upload a hand sketch, you can upload an Illustrator file, or you can even upload a Midjourney image. Midjourney, a different type of image rendering AI. Future Ilinca here, I just realized that I'm making a mistake. I'm calling it an Illustrator file, but I'm in my mind, which you cannot read, I'm referring to a PDF or a screenshot or a JPEG. It needs to be a rasterized image. So sorry about that, but let's continue. So let's start uploading the sketches I have prepared. Here's just a quick hand sketch. Just made it by hand, took a picture of it with my iPhone and uploaded it for the sake of just showing what kind of look can you get from just having a hand sketch. Then we're going to go into writing prompts. I'm going to keep these prompts very basic for you, because if I go into too much detail, I think it can make it a little bit muddy of what the concept and ideas of prompting. But don't worry, I'm going to make a separate video where we can go into deeper detail for how the prompt for how to write a prompt. What does the sketch do and what does the prompt do? The sketch, the way you can kind of see it, is like the skeleton of the rendering, and writing the prompt is you guiding the AI to read your sketch. AI sees in black and white. It doesn't see in colors or anything like that. It just kind of reads blocks of information, the skeleton, and with the prompt that you write, you're guiding it so that it can interpret your sketch the way you want it to. It's not perfect, it's still learning, but I think that the results you get are quite incredible, and it can get you 80% to where you want to have it. So it's good to note you have to start with realistic expectations. It's not going to make it like that perfect in one go. You still have to have a back and forth with it. It's still a work in progress, and you have to be the captain of the ship. So we've uploaded the sketch. It's in black and white, and we're just going to name it. So what does the AI see? It's a side view of a runner sneaker. And it's also good to always note, where is this runner sneaker? Or else it's just going to make its own interpretation. So we will say, just for the sake of basics, white background. Just a side note, if I misspell anything, please forgive me. I'm not the best speller, but I always do my best. So side view of a runner sneaker, white background. What else can we write? Oh, materials. I always like suede, so suede leather. And you can name the color white. Color white. And this is interesting. Once we've started writing in the prompt, you get the creativity level. You get the enhanced color guidance. What is that? Now, because we're only working with white, I will not go into too much detail I will go into that detail in another tutorial. But what is interesting to know is here you have the creativity level. It goes from 0 to 10. 10 is really extreme. 0 is as accurate as possible. And considering that it's a hand sketch, it's not perfect. So if I'm going to make it at 0, it's going to have a pretty crappy interpretation, if you ask me. Just for the sake of testing, we're going to generate. I will go for 4 images. We're going to click generate. And this is the look that we get. I think they look really nice. The top right one is kind of hovering, but also gives it a bit of a vibe. And it's still a little bit wonky, but I have to say the interpretation is pretty well done for 10 seconds that it took to render it. It's not perfect just yet. So let's see how it looks like if we allow the AI to have a little bit extra room for interpretation. Let's go for creativity level 5. As you can see, it's starting to use orange, which I hadn't requested it. So it's taking a bit more freedom with the colors. Still, I think that it's starting to look really nice. If we do a small comparison, here it's a little bit more flat. And there's just not that much depth to it. Whilst if you scroll up, I think that it gets a lot more life to it. Let's see what we get for a 10 creativity level. There we go. It started to have more freedom with the textures. Also, I asked for a white background and it's putting it on a marble background. So as you can see, it's something you need to play around with. For me personally, I almost never use creativity level 10. It's just too far off. What I like about NewArc the most is that I can have a lot of control over how the rendering is going to look like. How about we experiment some more? Let's use a different type of image. Let's keep creativity level 5. Let's keep the prompt to be exactly the same, but we're going to use a different form of sketches. I'm going to upload now this sketch, which is an Illustrator file. So again, the prompt will be side view of a runner sneaker, white background, suede leather, color white. Balance 5, and then number of images 4. There we go. Now, this is interesting, and I can already touch a little bit on writing prompts. I told the AI that I want the sneaker to be from leather. But if you look at my sketch, you will see that in reality, they had to be open mesh. So the concept of the sketch was leather with open mesh. The AI interpreted it as suede leather and then the mesh to be an embossed leather. So that's why you get this kind of funky sneaker. And like I said, of course, AI is going to give its own interpretation and it's not going to be 100%. But this, to me, is not even 80%, which is what I expect from this program. So let's try to guide it more towards the type of sneaker that I want. So we have suede leather. And what we're also going to say is it should be extra wide open mesh nylon, color white. So we're going to generate it now. There we go. This is much better. Yeah, I'm much more happier. Of course, then all of a sudden you get a different shade of brown in there, but we're okay with that. I would say this is a good starting point, and from here you can just go deeper and deeper and deeper in the kinds of detail that you want. It's more about prompting at this stage. There's going to be another video on it. These are the kind of results that you get from using an Illustrator Sketch. I think that this is much better. than doing hand sketches. So we have a hand sketch, we have an Illustrator sketch. Just for the sake of research, let's see what happens if we upload a image generated by Midjourney. We're going to keep the prompt the same with just a little bit of adjustment. This is the sketch. And as you see, this is actually not a runner sneaker and it doesn't have any mesh. So I'm just going to adjust the prompt to tennis sneaker with a white background, suede leather, and I'm going to take the mesh material out. And I will keep the balance and I'm going to click generate. There we go. You're probably going to ask yourself, why would I want to upload a Midjourney rendered image to NewArc? For me, my personal experience is when I've used Midjourney to generate sneakers or shoes, the materials really run flat there. They're just not as hyper-realistic as how I would want them to be. So that, for me, to upload it then into NewArc is a big benefit because I can just get a much more detailed material from NewArc. It'll give it that extra realistic feel that I would want it to have. So that to me is a big plus to use Midjourney as a starting tool to get inspiration or to get a direction. And then when I'm happy with the results that they have, to put it through NewArc and to be able to get a much more detailed material rendering of that shoe. To understand which pricing plan would work for you the best, it's good to have a feeling of what is it that I want to do with this. If you've never used any AI generating tools, I would suggest just to, for the sake of playing around with it, to start with the basics. But I can guarantee you it's not going to be enough. You're going to get the $9 plan of 150 images and you're going to burn through them probably within the first 2-3 days. So you can already cover yourself and just go for the plan that they want you to buy, which is the one in the middle. And with this plan, you get 1,500 images, and I think it's a really good starting plan. So I hope that this helps. This is my first video, so please forgive me if it's been a bit awkward on the way here. There's going to be more to come, so thanks for coming.